Welcome to LCP Tracker Report Training. We're going to cover LCP Tracker and how to submit certified payrolls for your project. LCP Tracker is a certified payroll reporting system designated by the Department of Employment Services to monitor the First Source Employment Agreement compliance requirements. The web address for LCP Tracker is www.lcptracker.com. How to gain access to LCP Tracker. Step 1. Admin Solutions will email you the LCP Tracker Add Contractor Request Form. 2. You will complete the below items: the name of your company, your federal tax ID number, DUNS number if you have it, contractor's 10-digit phone number if you're creating a new profile. If you currently have access to LCP Tracker, please use the same information used for your existing or previous profile: your address of your company, the trade in which you perform, your business license number, your union status, the name, title, and ethnicity of your principal, and then the contact name, phone number, and email. The contact person will be the person who will be submitting the certified payroll. If you are a DC, SBE, or CBE, please enter that information at the bottom. Step 3. Send the completed form back to Admin Solutions. Also, please provide your estimated start date. And number 4, you will receive an email notification when the project profile has been created. Again, once your profile has been created, you go to the LCP Tracker website and you will sign in using your username, which is your contractor license number, or the phone number that was used on your LCP Tracker request form. Secondly, you'll submit your password. If you have a previous account or an existing account, it will be the same password. If you have a new account, you will need to create a password. Once you've logged in, you will see this home screen. If you're on multiple projects using LCP Tracker, you will see all projects listed in the project assignments table. Important note: the menu title tables that you will use and need to be familiar with will be the Welcome title tab that outlines your projects and the submitted certified payrolls. Secondly, will be the District of Columbia Government title tab that has your payroll records, notices, certifications, e-documents, and setup. The first tab you will select is the Setup tab. The items in the Setup main menu are Add, Edit, Employee. This is where you will enter the information for each employee. Edit Login Password. This is where you will edit your password for your login screen. For example, if your contact person is no longer with the company, you will edit the login password. Edit/reset e-signature. This is the password that is used to certify your certified payrolls. If at any time you need to change your e-signature password, i.e. the employee that is currently doing that is no longer working with the company, this is where you would select the button to change the password. Add/edit additional users. If you would like to add additional users in your company to have access to LCP Tracker, this is where you will add that person. Wow. Step 1, in the Setup menu, select Add, Edit, Employee. Step 2, input the following information: first and last name of the employee. Their address needs to go into the address section and then select Validate. That has to be done first before you can add any of the other information. After the address has been validated, it will populate in the section that you see in step 2. Then add the last 4 digits of the social security number. any exemptions that employee has, their ethnicity, the date they were hired with your company, if they have a driver's license or a non-driver's ID, you need the state and the ID number, and then lastly, their gender. After that information has been added, you want to add if that individual is an apprentice. This information will have to be approved by the DOES Apprenticeship Council prior to that individual being selected as an apprentice on certified payroll. If this information is not approved, you will have an error message and you will not be able to certify your certified payrolls. The employee profile continued. After you've selected whether or not this employee is an apprentice, you want to go to the Geographic and Area Assignment tab in the menu and then add the ward if that individual is a district resident. And for the additional information, such as a geographic area, congressional district, or state senate district, please select Other. As a recap, creating your employee profile consists of going to the setup menu, select Add Edit Employee, enter all the information with the asterisk, validating the employee's address, adding all apprenticeship information, adding the geographic area assignment information, and then saving everything before you leave the page. The button at the bottom is Save. Before you add another employee or go away from the page, please save so that you have saved all of the changes you've made and all the information you've inputted. If you need assistance, please reach out to the Atmos Solutions Compliance Management Team. Classifications. What is that used for? There are two demographic classifications that are used on these projects. The first one is hard to employ. The second is Section 3. Hard to employ is a designation for individuals that are working all across district government projects. Section 3 is a designation that's used for individuals working on affordable housing projects. Employee as hard to employ. Once you've saved all of their information when you created their profile, you want to go back to the setup menu and add edit employee. Once you've selected the employee's name from the dropdown, go down further in that dashboard to where it says demographic classifications. Select add classification. Once you add the classification, you'll see a drop-down menu for demographic type. You're going to drop down in that menu and select hard to employ. Once you select hard to employ, you'll select one of the following demographic classifications. Is this employee or has this employee been homeless? Is this employee or has this employee have a permanent disability? Is this employee or has this employee been a returning citizen? Does this employee or has this employee had supplemental nutrition assistance program help? Does this employee or has the employee had temporary assistance for needy families help? Is this employee or has this employee been part of a transitional employment program? Was the employee unemployed for 6 months or longer prior to them being hired with you? Is this employee or has this employee been a part of the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program? Once you've selected the correct demographic classification for that employee, please enter the start date of when they were in that classification. For example, they started with your company and identified as homeless, or they started with your company and identified as returning citizen. Add any notes as needed. Check, is this the primary classification? Check that box. Select Done. scroll down to the bottom of the page and save. Please remember to save all information once it's inputted in the system. Section 3. You follow the same steps as when you're identifying them as hard to employ. You go to the Setup menu, select Add Edit Employee, go to the drop-down menu, select that person's name, go to Demographic Classifications, Add Classification. In the drop-down menu for Demographic Type, select Section 3 Employee Type, go to Demographic Classification and select Section 3. Enter the start and end date, add notes if needed, check is the primary classification box, select done, and then go to the bottom of the page and save. Identifying an employee as Section 3 is very important for them to be counted towards your Section 3 goals. Section 3 continued. There is an additional section in LCP Tracker where you can identify your employees as Section 3. You want to go down to the HUD Section 3 Information menu option, go to the drop-down menu and select Current. This includes an individual that is currently or has been within the last 5 years a Section 3 worker. Enter the last day the individual will be considered Section 3. Again, it's dependent upon when they were hired. Enter their residency status and then scroll to the bottom of the page and save the record. Please remember to save after each entry of information in LCP Tracker. Section 3 worker. A Section 3 worker is someone who currently fits or when hired within the last 5 years fit one of the following categories. Low or very low income worker based on the area they live, employed by a Section 3 business concern, is a participant in a youth build program. A targeted Section 3 worker is someone who's either employed by a Section 3 business concern or currently fits or when hired fit at least one of the following categories within the last 5 years. They live within the service area or neighborhood of the project, which is within 1 mile, or is a participant in a youth build program. The second menu option that we're going to go over is e-documents. What is e-documents used for? E-documents is used for you to upload your LCP Tracker certified payroll authorization letters. You upload all of your approved apprenticeship agreements, and you add any additional necessary documents. For instance, if this individual needs to have child support taken out of their check, you put your child support documentation in e-documents. If there is a restitution owed, your restitution backup documentation goes into e-documents. This e-documents section is for all required documents for this individual for a specific project. How do we upload information into e-documents? So you'll select e-documents in your main menu options and then select upload documents. Then you'll select the applicable project in the download section, add your subcontractor assignment, select the document type that you'll be uploading, enter the date of the document. If it's an agreement, when will you be submitting it? Enter expiration date. Usually when the project ends will be the expiration date, as these documents are project specific. If it's an apprenticeship agreement, please use the end date on their agreement when that individual will no longer be an apprentice. Enter a brief description of the document. If it's attached to an employee, i.e. a apprenticeship agreement, please select the employee's name. If it's attached to a specific work in or project end date, please select that date. Select the file to upload, upload the document, enter your e-signature password, and then save. Remember, it's always important to save at each stage of entering information into LCP Tracker. The next menu item we're going to go over is payroll records. How do we enter payrolls into LCP Tracker? You will enter payrolls for each employee whom performed work in a specific week. You'll select payroll records from your main menu options, then select enter records. This is where you will enter all applicable payroll information on all those employees. If you are submitting payrolls and you've missed someone or you haven't had a chance to certify for whatever the reason and you need to go back and edit, you want to select Edit Uncertified Payroll Records. This is used if you need to delete a record, if you've accidentally entered the wrong week, or if you need to make an edit for some reason. You'll select Edit Uncertified Payroll Records. If a payroll has already been submitted and approved, it has been locked from editing. If you need it to be open for edits, please email the Atmos Solutions Compliance Management Team to request that certified payroll and the week ending to be open so that you can make your edits. If you're interested in uploading your records via Excel spreadsheet, please reach out to the Atmos Solutions team to schedule a one-on-one training. How do we input each individual week in LCP Tracker? Step one, you'll select the week ending date for the week that you're reporting. Step two is select the project you're going to be reporting on, and then select the employee with whom you're entering the certified payroll. Next, you're going to add the classification for that individual. Then you'll hit next. Once you hit next, a drop-down menu of the classifications available on the wage determination will populate, and you will select the individual's classification and then save. The jurisdiction will populate. Your employee's classification with notes and the type of construction will all populate. Once you've saved that, you want to add selected classification. You want to check the box for it says select, and then that will take you to the next step of where you will enter the employee's pay information. The very next screen, once you've added their classification and you've added select next, you're going to enter the employee's base rate on this project, their overtime rate on this project, and if you pay what's called cash fringes, which are the rate in lieu of the fringes, which means that your company doesn't provide fringe benefits, or you have half fringe benefit programs and half cash, or however that works out, you'll select that rate here. The cash fringes is the rate minus what you pay in benefits or what the fringe benefit rate is on the wage determination. Next, you're going to calculate the gross employee pay for this project. That's the rate that you selected as their hourly rate times the number of hours they worked on the project. Overtime hours are calculated separately, and then you add them together for the gross employee pay for this project. You do the same thing for the rate in lieu of fringes. You take the rate in lieu of fringes times the number of hours they work, and then you add that to wages paid in lieu of cash fringes. After you do that, you want to enter the number of hours that employee has worked, regular time, overtime, or double time. Only the hours that the employee worked on this project should be added to the certified payroll. If the project has this option, please enter the total hours that individual worked on all projects for the work week in question. For example, if an employee worked only 10 hours on this project but worked 40 hours that week, your total hours would be 40, but it would only be 10 on this project. Next, calculating fringes. This is the section if you provide fringe benefits. This is bona fide fringe benefits. How do you calculate vacation or holiday pay? The rate that you're paying towards these benefits times the number of hours the individual worked goes in this section. If you pay vacation separate from holiday, please add them together when you calculate that rate and put that cumulative value in vacation slash holiday slash dues. How do you calculate your health benefits? The rate that you pay towards your contribution to your employee's health benefits plan is the rate times the number of hours that individual works and add that into that section. If you pay health and dental and vision, please add those rates together, multiply times the number of hours, and put that rate, that value, at health and welfare section. Select the applicable box for how the fringes are paid for that individual. Some are all paid, they're included in their gross pay, there's some voluntary contributions on their side, needs to be added prior to your next section. Your next section is adding paycheck information. You select whether it's a single paycheck or multiple paychecks. Then you add the deductions for that paycheck: federal, Social Security, Medicare, state tax, if they have local or county tax, any type of other deductions, i.e., child support or a loan against their 401k, etc. If they are paying into any of their vacation or dues or they're having anything additional taken out of their check, goes in total deductions. Then you add their payments. Are they receiving any travel or subsidized payments from you? That goes in trav slash subs. Gross pay across all projects on their paycheck goes in that section. Their paycheck amount, which is their gross pay on all projects minus their total deductions, goes in paycheck amount, check number, and then the date of their payment. If an individual does have other deductions, i.e., their contributions to their health benefits or child support or 401k loans or etc., that information must be entered in other deduction notes. Once you've entered all of the information, please select Save. If there is no concerns with what you've entered, you will see no notices. However, if notices do appear, please follow instructions so that you can clear those notices, as you cannot move forward to certify your payroll until all notices are cleared. So when you see notices, what does that mean? It means that there's something that is not right or the system is not calculating on your certified payroll. So when you go to your notices menu tab in your top menu, please select the appropriate project and then Look at the employee and what the notice is. Open that record, and then it'll tell you in the notice what is the notice about. Once you make the necessary edits per what the notice says, you save it, and then it should clear the notice. If after you follow the instructions in the notice and the notice still will not resolve, please reach out to the Atmos Solutions Compliance Management Team. After clearing any notices from your payroll record, if you had them, is to certify that record. The first step is to select the certification tab from the menu titled tabs. It is number 3. The second step is to select the name of the project that you are certifying the payroll record for. Then next, you want to select the option for work activity to be reported for this week. Second, you want to enter the week ending date either by entering the date with month, month, day, day, year, year, or using the calendar icon. Second, you want to enter the payroll number, keeping in mind that all payroll numbers must be in consecutive order. Next, you want to enter the name of the person that's certifying the payroll, whether that's you or your accounting manager or the hiring manager or the HR person or the owner of the company. Whoever is certifying the payroll, you put that person's name here. Next, you want to enter the title of that person that is certifying the payroll. Then you'll select next. Select next. This is your next screen. This is where you indicate how fringes are paid and certifying the actual payroll. So step 1 is to select either box A or B in number 4 to indicate how your company pays fringes. A is if you are contributing to bona fide fringe benefit programs, plans, or funds. And B is if you're paying those benefits in cash via adding them to their base rate or giving them a separate check for those fringe benefits. The remarks section is if you have notes regarding your payroll for any reason, i.e., if you had to make edits to the payroll or there needs to be a correction made, remarks are where you would indicate that reason. Next, you would enter your e-signature password because this is your signature for signing the payrolls. Then you'll select Save, and that certifies your payroll. Please note, if work is complete and you will not be returning to the work site, please check the box under the e-signature password to indicate that this is your final payroll. How do you enter certified payrolls for weeks that you're not performing? You go through the same process of certifying a payroll. So you certify the payroll by going to certification, select the project where it says work performed this week. You'll select no work activity to be reported for this week. If you are selecting this for multiple weeks, you'll select the third option that says no work activity to be reported for multiple consecutive weeks. Then you'll add the week ending date, either of the week that you're reporting or of the first week that you are identifying as a no work week, including the payroll number for that week, the name of the person certifying the, the certified payroll, and their title. Once all of that information has been added, please select Next. A no work payroll record. It is the same process as when you're certifying a work performed payroll. The differences are when you're certifying a non performing week, both box A and box B are already indicated with X's because that indicates that this is a no work week in LCP Tracker. The remarks section is the same if you needed to make edits or changes to your payroll for any reason, i.e., there was originally a work performing week and it had to be replaced with a non performing week, or whatever the case is, that goes in remarks if needed. Next, you want to enter your e-signature password. Again, this is how you will be signing the payroll. After you put your password in, you will hit save and that will certify the payroll. Please note, if your work is complete and you will not be returning to the site, check the box under e-signature password to indicate that this is the final payroll. LCP Tracker or something that hasn't been covered in this training, please select the Support tab at the top of your dashboard. This will open either a new website or a new web page tab, and you can email their support directly. You can call their support. There are training videos that can explain to you why something is or how to do something. If those options aren't available, you can always reach out to the Atmos Solutions Compliance Management Team to schedule a one on one training to help you resolve any LCP tracker issues. Thank you for viewing the LCP Tracker Training, and if you need any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Atmos Solutions Compliance Management Team.